live from Edward Alexander Gray Sports Complex on the campus of Lincoln High School. Touchdown Productions, celebrating our 18th season of high school sports television, is proud to present Nevada Union Minor Football. Tonight, in Week 3 of the 2014 season, your Nevada Union Miners take on the Lincoln Fighting Zebras. The Miners are on the road tonight, and all the action starts right here, right now. It's your NorCal Game of the Week. The Nevada Union Miners take their show on the road tonight in the third week of the 2014 season. This time they face the perennial PVL powerhouse, the Lincoln Fighting Zebras. Good evening, football fans, wherever you are across our worldwide audience. This is Jim Adams, the voice of NU Minor football. Alongside me tonight in the broadcast booth is Paul Brown and Steve Sitter. Our executive producer director, Gilbert M. Dominguez, and he is joined by the rest of the Touchdown Production sports team of Paul Town, Tony Rondini, and Sanya Enos. Paul, after a good start against the Hillmen, the Miners stumbled a little last week in the second half against Pleasant Grove.
That's true, Jimmy, but what a game it was. After a scoreless first period, the game exploded with 42 points in the second. Both teams delivered body blows after body blow, only to see the other team come back and score. But in the second half, the Eagles wore down the Miners, and it was all Pleasant Grove as the Miners committed mistake after mistake, which cost them the game.
That's right. Both teams had huge penalty numbers. Pleasant Grove had 13 penalties for 135 yards, but NU had 8 penalties for 75 yards. However, NU did lose 4 fumbles, and as a result gave up 21 points off turnovers to give the Eagles the victory. As for the Fighting Zebras tonight, they welcome new head coach Chris Bean from the Bear River Bruins organization. But just like Dennis Houlihan last year, the Zebras have not found the winning combination so far and come into tonight's game at 0-2.
So we have a good one for you tonight, a pivotal game for Nevada Union. They call it a night of execution. Two teams with new coaches who know each other very well. The 1-1 NU Miners versus the 0-2 Lincoln Zebras. It's Week 3 of the 2014 season. Thanks for spending your time with us tonight, and be sure to watch this game and all our sports telecasts on our Touchdown Productions Game of the Week YouTube channel and NCT Channel 11, Suddenlink Channel 16, the home of NU Minor football. You're watching exclusive coverage of Nevada Union Minor football on the Touchdown Productions Sports Network.
Hello, I'm Dr. Victoria Tutak, and welcome to Advanced Chiropractic Centers. Are you tired of living with debilitating pain, physically impacting the quality of your life? Here at Advanced Chiropractic Centers, we offer a variety of options. We are a result-driven office devoted to your health care. My name is Dr. T, and I look forward to meeting your health care needs.
It's time to visit the newly remodeled B&C True Value Home and Garden Center. The new B&C has completely changed for your shopping convenience. Their new expanded garden center has everything you need, including expert advice on trees, shrubs, and perennials. Check out their new website and the new spring hours. And thank you for voting B&C the best hardware and building supply in 2012. So start right, start here at B&C True Value Home and Garden Center.
Welcome to Plaza Tire and Automotive Service in Grass Valley. At Plaza Tire and Automotive Service, the customer comes first. We only do what's right for the customer, not necessarily what's right for business. Third generation family member, learned all that I know from my Grandpa Fred, my dad, my Uncle Mike, my grandma. My entire family's been a huge part of learning about the automotive industry. Grass Valley is our 4th location, and you can also find us in Colfax, Penn Valley, and Nevada City. I am Blake Hauser, and I welcome you to join us for the grand opening at our Grass Valley location.
Accidents happen, and Trips Auto Body and Paint Shop understands your frustration when they do. They work on all makes and models and have been serving Nevada County for 3 generations. Trips is a proud member of the AAA Repair Network, and their technicians are I-CAR Gold Class professionals. Trips works with all insurance companies and is a direct repair facility for AAA. Voted Nevada County's best, it's Trips Auto Body.
Mike Bratton is the neighbor you can count on for your most important insurance decisions, 24 hours a day.
The first step begins with a phone call. Hi, I'm Mike Bratton, your good neighbor State Farm agent, and I look forward to hearing from you. Since 1984, my team and I have been educating clients and developing long-term relationships through personalized and professional guidance on their insurance programs. We will put you in the driver's seat and strive to enhance each encounter you have with us.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Back live here at the Edward Alexander Gray Sports Complex. We're moments away from Nevada Union playing the Lincoln Fighting Zebras. Let's take a look at the standings. Paul and Steve, what do you see here?
Okay, Steve, let's talk about the SFL. First off, Wood Creek, Folsom, Rockland, Oak Ridge, all undefeated. Then followed by Granite Bay, and of course our NU Miners 1-1. Granite Bay did not play last week. Del Oro is looking for their first win.
SFL is always so tough. And now we go over to the PVL. Center, Placer, and Bear River all split 1-1. No one in the PVL 2-0. Colfax 1-0, and Lincoln and Foothill both 0-2. Lincoln, of course, we'll see if we can't get Chris Bean his first win as the Fighting Zebras head coach.
Thank you, guys. In preparation for tonight's game, we kind of have a little drama within the drama. We have Dennis Houlihan in his second year as the Nevada Union Miner coach, coming off a extremely rebuilding year last year. Over on the other sideline, acquired by the Lincoln Zebras during the offseason, is Coach Chris Bean. Chris Bean cut his teeth in football a few miles down the road from Nevada Union at Bear River. Bean, looking for his first victory of the season, has been 0-2. So he's hungry for it across his Highway 49 rival, the Nevada Union Miners, and that looks like a perfect combination for a very interesting game tonight. Miners this week had a good week of practice. They really feel that physicality is one of the keys for tonight's game, along with focus. They knew that they let last week slip through their fingers, but they really want to get it back. They responded well this week, and the key word for this week's game for Nevada Union will be execution. We'll be back and talk a little bit more about tonight's contest in a moment. We'd like to remind you that you're watching exclusive coverage of Nevada Union Miner football. This is the Touchdown Production Sports Network.
Magnuson's Toyota and Scion is celebrating 25 years serving you in the foothills. Right now, Magnuson's carries the first all-electric SUV, and they're still the home of the Toyota Tundra. Magnuson's Dodge Chrysler Jeep is right down the street and features the new Ram diesel truck, Jeep Wranglers, and Grand Jeep Cherokee. It's Magnuson's Auburn Toyota and Magnuson's Dodge, both in Auburn.
Are you ready to buy or sell your home or property? Placer Title is your local title and escrow company located right here in the heart of Nevada County. We combine the stability of a national insurer with all the benefits of on-site title and escrow professionals. Being voted the best title company by the Union Readers for the past 7 years is a true testament to our local roots and unparalleled customer service. Stop by one of our 2 convenient locations, and thank you for keeping your business local.
We're at SPD Market in Nevada City asking people what they like about SPD.
I've been shopping here for about 20 years, and the people are very courteous, and I especially like the meat counter. It's nice. You have a great selection, very helpful.
Because it's local, it's small, they have wonderful selections of things I need, and the personnel are very nice.
And that's why people love SPD Markets in Nevada City and Grass Valley. And of course, brought to you by Touchdown Productions, the foothill leader in sports television. This is Gil Dominguez saying thanks for joining us tonight, and be sure to stay with us after the game when we announce the Bill Slade and Sons Trucking Player of the Game, created by Stuckey Engravers. Once again, the Touchdown Productions sports team will select the most deserving NU player and honor them with a beautiful plaque made by Stuckey's. So stay tuned after the game for the Bill Slade and Sons Trucking Player of the Game Award, created by Stuckey Engravers, and coming up immediately after this exclusive telecast.
Last week it was number 5 Travis Owens, the running back for Nevada Union. Second week of heavy consideration. In week 2 he captured the award. So we'll have to see who rises to the surface tonight for the Miners. It'll be a very interesting contest for Nevada Union tonight, Paul. There's no doubt about the fact that this is a game that they have on their radar as one where they really need to make a statement after last week.
And you know, what you said about execution is completely right, Jim. They had every opportunity last week to win that football game, but it was a variety of fumbles, of missed execution, and Jim, an incredible number of penalties that were constantly marching the Miners backwards. When they had some kind of momentum going, it would stifle them again and again. So they need to fix those problems this week in order to beat the Zebras here at home. And I think that they're favored.
Talk a little bit about last week. Steve Sitter, the best stat man in the Foothills, came up with this. In the first half, on the run, the Miners gained 156 yards, cut that by over 155 in the second half. In the first half, passing 78 yards, really make it a fraction of that in the second, 17. And 5 sacks given up for 37 yards. So on the plus side, Melendez had 18 tackles, and we're looking for a big game from him tonight. Mo Nieves had 139 yards, but the big number, 4 fumbles lost, 21 points off turnovers. Thanks, Steve. So the Miners need to definitely improve on some of the aspects of the game.
I think one of the biggest holes in the Miners' offense, Jim, is the fact that they don't seem to have a kicker that can come onto the field and kick a 20-yard field goal. And in Division I football, you've got to have that weapon in your arsenal if you're going to be a successful football team. And with that said, we're all going to stand for the national anthem.
That for you, Paul, as we prepared for the national anthem. Nevada Union recruited a player from the soccer team, and he didn't have as great a game last week, but they've promised me that this week he will do better. They've really focused on a few things with him. I talked to Travis Owens, the running back, about it. Very eloquent Travis. Talked about how the scheme is going to change a little bit with the kicking, and he says, here's the irony. In practice, he kicks the ball through the end zone. So what they've got to do now is translate that practice performance over to real games. Miners will be receiving to start off, so it may be a bit before we see the kickoff, but that'll be interesting to monitor tonight.
Well, I was noticing during the pregame warm-ups, he was setting up at the 20-yard line and kicking 27-yard field goals well through the uprights.
Deep is Travis Owens and Isaac Rodriguez. They're both situated at the 20-yard line. You see Rodriguez far side, Travis Owens near side. Owens number 5. Rodriguez, number 20. So the Miners are going to will be able to make a statement right off the start here in tonight's ball game. A pivotal game for the Miners. You might not have to call it a must-win, but they're looking to make a statement tonight with a well-executed contest and an improvement over the errors of last week's Pleasant Grove loss. So we're about ready for the kickoff. Kicking off is Elijah Garcia for the Fighting Zebras. And it's a squib kick. Miners need to fall on it, and I'm not sure they got it. I think that the ball will go to the Zebras. So the onside kick works. The Miners are not well prepared for it, and so it's the Zebras who will have the ball in their territory at the 43-yard line.
So, Jim, I got a question for you right off the bat. Was that legitimately an onside kick, or was
it
that a missed kick?
Nope, that was an legitimate onside kick, and it worked.
That's risky.
I've seen it done before, so it didn't surprise me tremendously. It's going to be Garcia at quarterback. First play of the game for the Zebras is a pass. Short gain of 4 yards to the 39 of Nevada Union. Travis Owens with the tackle.
Strongest part of the Miners defense, their linebacking core, in my opinion. Travis Owens coming up, Josh Melendez, one of my favorites.
So we'll call it 2nd and 6. Handoff up the middle, not much though. Miners do a good job on that running game. A bevy of tacklers for Nevada Union, including Andrew Schnitzis.
One of the Schnitzis brothers, Josh, in there. On his knees, you saw him submarining through the line and there first to make the tackle.
So that's going to bring us up a 3rd down and 6 yards. No gain on that play. In fact, maybe lost a few inches. Garcia almost appears like he's changing the call at the line of scrimmage. And the Miners encroach.
Well, we marched that off. Let's look at the kickoff again. And Jim, you're right. You look at this replay, it's a beautifully executed kick. But you see, usually they stack a number of players on one side and kick it to that side. This time, it almost appeared like the offensive players didn't know it was coming, but it certainly was an onside kick, and well executed at that.
Josh Melendez, the player guilty of encroachment. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and 3 now. And now there's a lot of motion. I think the Miners will get those 5 yards back. Tanner Keeler started the play a few seconds early. In fact, the far left side of the line jumped. And so that 3rd and 2 becomes a 3rd and 7. 10:34 to go. Early on. We're in zebra country tonight. Here's the pitch. Miners move in. Try to make the play, and they do. A few yards on the play.
In the first series of plays, Melendez has 3 tackles. He holds the zebra running back short. If they are going to go for it, they're kind of in that no man's land, Jim. They're not really someplace they can punt or kick a field goal.
Well, and Garcia came to the sidelines, but then Elijah Garcia comes back. A limping zebra comes off, P.J. Manley. And so we'll see if this might be a play where Garcia tries to draw the Miners off sides. 4-man front for Nevada Union. Back to pass, looking, throws, completion, but he's tackled short of a 1st down. And the Miners will get the ball back on downs. Good defensive play there, Paul.
The defense has been carrying them, Jim, especially early on. And that was another case where the Miners come up with a big play. Steve, did you catch the tackler on that play?
I did not.
I thought it might be Travis Owens.
So here come the Miners. Expect a mix of running and passing tonight. Justice Spillner, handoff, sweep, big hole, large gain. moves into the zebra country. Travis Owens starts off with a big one.
There's the leader of the Miners, Travis Owens, first play from scrimmage. The Miners are firing out, Jim. That offensive line was off the ball faster than I've seen them in the last 2 games.
Let's see if the Miners come out with a pass here on second down. And they do. Over to Daniels. And a nice gain again of about 9 yards. Drew Daniels.
Here comes a replay of that run. This is Travis Owens. We talked about it. Look at him get off the ball, turn that corner, gets a great block there to seal the end. Another one from his receiver. And Owens is just trotting down the field. That's a good inside move.
Huge block by Matt Cross. Second down, that'll be a first down for Nevada Union, so a short gain on the play results in 1st and 10 for Nevada Union, and that's Mo Nieves, his first carry of the night. So far, a good drive by Nevada Union, very calculated. Execution has been good. I think these Zebras know that they're in for it. Double back offense, and this on the play, I believe, was Travis Owens.
Travis hitting the left-hand side of the line, running behind his big tackle, Matt Cross. He went nowhere, but still ended up falling forward for a couple.
Miners are going to need a big effort tonight from their offensive line. And now it's a 2nd and 8. Spillner back, looking. Flag on the play, throws incomplete. And Drew Daniels drops that one, but it's going to be a holding call against Nevada Union, and that will march them back 10 yards.
Jim, this is exactly what we were talking about earlier. Penalties like this stymied drives last week. They had the momentum going, and then they hit a 15-yard penalty, and now they're 2nd and long.
A shade under 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. We have no score here from the Edward Alexander Gray Sports Complex on the campus of Lincoln High School. Nevada Union Miners, Lincoln Fighting Zebras, here tonight live for your viewing pleasure. Daniels already splits out far side. You see him there at the top of your screen. So Justice is going to have to get some of that yardage back. And he's going to go long, out in front. He's there. He's got it. Short at the 1 yard line. So Daniels with a great catch. He believes that he vaulted into the end zone, but no call from the officials. And in fact, they're going to say he was out at the 4 yard line.
And Daniels leaning forward. First of all, he turned around, found the football, didn't overrun it, got 2 hands out, caught the ball, and then stretched out at the end trying to get that last couple yards.
I watched him in walkthroughs tonight, and Paul, he just does not miss many balls. So a 1st and goal from the 4. Handoff, right side, good search forward. Gets to about,
there it is.
And it's a touchdown! A delayed call, but the Miners strike first.
Justice Spillner, he called it. He was walking off the field towards the bench, signaling touchdown long before the officials called it.
Number 9, Mo Nieves, breaks the ice tonight for Nevada Union, and they take a 6-0 lead with 7:36 to go in the first quarter. Travis Owens holding for the extra point. Spotted, kicked.
Good.
So what they didn't do last week, they do this week, and that is they convert on the point after, and Nevada Union takes a 7-0 lead. Paul, despite the penalty, a well-executed first drive for Nevada Union.
And we're seeing the maturity of the Spillner to Drew Daniels again this week. I think that's going to get better. Here's the play, Jim, and look at him. He looks at him right down the field. He has plenty of time to throw, sets, and then throws a nice little touch pass. You can see him setting up for that and throwing off his back foot. And there's Daniels waiting, and watch, he gets both hands out in front, catches the football, and now reaches for goal and doesn't quite get it.
But you know, that was a tough ball to catch.
Absolutely.
And here's the thing, Paul, that's interesting. Both Spillner and Daniels are juniors. And there is the Mike Bratton State Farm scoreboard. Miners strike first, 7-0. Seamers to kick off for Nevada Union. He notches the extra point. Let's see what we get here off this kickoff. And an end over end, very short again. The 22-yard line at his field. Gets through several players, but just gets to like the 33 on the play. That was number 12, Owen Williamson.
Steve Sitter one more time on the touchdown.
And this really is just the lines going at it, and Nevada Union's line much stronger than Lincoln's. There's just a barely a hole, and Nieves just shoots through it, gets the 4 yards he needs.
Well, and let's give this to Coach Houlihan. Who does he pick to run it? Mo Nieves, who has a low center of gravity and is a very strong runner. So here we go. 1st and 10, their second possession of the night. Pass over here on the near side. Tanner Keeler with the ball, and finally shoved out of bounds by Travis Owens after a first down gain on the play. 13 yards on the play.
That's Tanner Keeler, and I'll tell you, Jim, he's got some wheels on him. He caught that ball, and his first 2 steps are quick.
Watch for the Zebras to have a fairly intense run game. 2 backs. Right behind Elijah Garcia. He gives it to the second man through. A nice gain on the play, carried by Dane Stimbert.
Stimbert, another one of those big, strong backs. More of an inline runner, it looks like, but certainly capable after he gets the football of getting the extra yards just with strength.
That's a 3-yard gain. That's going to be 2nd down and 7.
Stimbert listed at 5'9", 215.
So Garcia, 2nd and long, quick pass over the middle, and it's incomplete. Ball is dropped by P.J. Manley.
And I'll tell you, Jim, if Manley had caught that football, he had a wide open field. They spotted a hole in the linebacking core of NU. They got to fill that one in a hurry.
But the Miners generate on defense, another 3rd and long. Ball exactly at midfield. And the Zebras have to get to the 42-yard line. So we're going to say that's a 3rd and 8. Man in motion. Here's the screen over here to this side, but the Miners converge, and it's only a short gain of about 1 yard on the play. Good pursuit by Nevada Union, and at the bottom of the pile is Drew Daniels, the wide receiver, who makes the hit and the tackle.
The Miners,
so 4th down, and now the Zebras are going to have to punt.
Miners able to keep them to less than 20 yards. 1 first down on that first play from scrimmage.
Single man back for Nevada Union, Isaac Rodriguez. In fact, Travis Owens is here near side protecting the wide receiver, and the ball is punted away. Miners need to be careful. They step away. They're going to take possession inside the 20 at the 15-yard line. So now a good test coming up from Nevada Union. Taking the ball from their own 15 here on their 2nd possession of the game. And let's talk about twin events in the Nevada Placer County area. Nevada Union Miners 8th annual golf tournament at Alta Sierra. Sunday, September 28th, 2014. Sign up, nuboosters.org. And then the basketball boosters of the Placer Hillman, their 3rd annual tournament at Auburn Valley. Sunday, September 28th. Yeah, I think you got the wrong date for Nevada Union. I believe their tournament is the next day on Monday. I think it's the 29th, but you can jump on the internet and they're in the truck and find it out. Steve said there is no internet in the truck. Are you sure, Steve?
I don't even have internet at my house, so I'm not the one to ask.
That's our computer guru. Here's the Miners. First down. Nice play. Left side. But flags are everywhere. Racing down the field. A beautiful gain by James Schnitzitz, but let's see what they come up with. Where the flags are located, it looks like it might be a hold against Nevada Union.
I saw the hold inside, Jim. It's pretty clear that it's coming back.
Yes, September 28th is a Sunday, but I do believe the tournament is on the 29th.
And with that said, they'll march them halfway to the goal line. NU will have the ball, it looks like, on about the 4, and it'll be first down and 15.
And this is what Ernie Flores talked about in the pregame, the need to cut down on the mistakes. And although they didn't get burned the first time because the next play was the long pass to Drew Daniels, putting yourself inside the 4 really puts you at risk. So let's see how Spillner navigates out of it. It's a pitch to this side. Needs to get a block. Gets the block. Breaks towards the middle. Breaks the tackle. This is Travis Owens. He's at the 40. There's one man who might catch him. He needs to pick up one block, but he will not need it. Touchdown, Owens and Miners.
Travis Owens going across grain, getting the pitch on the right side, ending up on the far left sideline, showing speed and showing his patience to pick up his block, finding the hole, and the touchdown is scored for the Miners.
And did you see who escorted Owens into the end zone? It was Mo Nieves, his fellow running back. So now Seamer's in for the extra point. Owens is holding. He's probably out of breath, but he spots it. It's kicked, and it is a dribbler that goes through. Miners, first 10 minutes of the, in fact, first 8 minutes of the game lead, first 7 minutes of the game lead 14-0. We've got 4:57 to go in the first quarter. Steve, big plays tonight, huh?
Definitely, and I believe you were telling me before the game, Jim, that when you talked with Travis Owens, he mentioned that Lincoln was the team to test their running abilities on.
Well, let's take a look. Here's the run. How many yards is this, Steve?
This
96?
96 yards. Cuts back. It's great blocking. Boom, right there on the right side. Cuts back across. Completely fools the safeties of Lincoln. And by the time he cuts across, he's at the 20-yard line. It's already a foregone conclusion. He's going to get to the end zone, and that is number 9, Mo Nieves, escorting him all the way down. No zebra can catch him.
And it looked like Mo was actually having a conversation with Travis as they were escorting each other down the field.
He's probably saying, will you hand it off to me, please?
Come on, give me one. Yeah.
So a great play. Owens has started off strong, as have the Miners. And now here's a kick. Deeper. Taken at the 9. Left side. Miners try to stop it, and they do at about the 30-yard line. So a better, deeper kick on that one. But for the Miners, exactly the start that they needed. 2 big plays, 1 passing, 1 running on each of their possessions have paved the way to touchdowns. In the case of Travis Owens, he scored it. In the case of Drew Daniels, he took it to the 4, and Nieves carried it in from there. Miners 14-0. Garcia. Looks like he's changing the call at the line of scrimmage. Man in motion again. Harrison Stewart breaks 1 tackle, but cannot get the other one, but gets a nice game on it, does Tanner Keeler. So Keeler looked like he would be stopped in the backfield, but he ended up getting a nice 7-yard gain.
Dane Stimberg has great balance, Jim. He came around the outside. He was hit by Belendez. Then he was hit again by Tenek. Neither one of them could bring him down. Finally ends up with about 7 yards.
2nd and 3 for the Zebras. Back is Garcia. Looking, throws in the flat here. It's complete. Breaks a few tackles and picks up 2 yards. It's going to be a 3rd down and 1.
Miners are missing that first tackle here on defense. They're leaving the Zebras in a position to get a first down here at 3rd and 1.
Well, like you said, Paul, they missed several tackles on the running play 2 plays ago, and here they had a chance to tackle him for a loss. But it's going to be a 3rd down and a crucial one for the Zebras. We're down to 3 minutes and 30 seconds to play in the first quarter. See which way Garcia goes here. There's the handoff. Pitches it out here. And a nice hit. A solid hit for the Miners by Drew Daniels, but a carry by Tanner Keeler for a first down.
Rather than going for a quick inside move just to pick up the first down, they gamble a little bit, going for the option play, and Keeler, proving that he is an excellent option back, gets plenty for the first.
So back, here comes Garcia, throws a lateral over to the far side. Nice gain here, but also then a good tackle for the Miners. The carry was Elijah Cunningham for the Fighting Zebras. It's going to be a short gain of 3.
Melendez at the bottom of that pile again.
So 2nd and 7, 2.5 minutes to go. First quarter action. Miners out to a 14-0 lead, exactly the start that they wanted. They've done really their will so far on offense, but here is where they need to stand tall on D. Fakes the pitch. Now it's going to be a screen, and that will be incomplete.
And you can thank Tim Rubio for that one. The big defensive tackle for the Miners, number 62, all 6 foot, 210 pounds of him, bowling down on the quarterback.
Well, and you had, once Garcia threw the ball, Josh Melendez did not bite at all on that particular screen, and he was right over there where the ball was thrown. So this is a big 3rd down play, 3rd and 8. Miners need to dig in on defense, and now there's going to be a timeout by the Lincoln Fighting Zebras. With 2:14 to go in the first quarter, Nevada Union leads 14-0.
Chris Bean decided to call a timeout from the sideline. He didn't like what he saw the Miners dishing up on defense.
Well, maybe, Paul, he thinks that this is a critical play early on.
I couldn't agree more, Jim. He obviously knows he needs to convert this 3rd down. They have been on the field twice and had a total of 2 first downs and given up 14 points. They need to convert here, keep this drive alive.
Steve, what is the yardage for the Zebras here in the first quarter? That's an interesting question to ask right there.
It's not fantastic, I can say that. Just glancing over the numbers I have here, I would guess that it's a shade over 40.
Okay.
So not fantastic when you consider Nevada Union is edging towards 200.
Here's a 3rd down, late substitution for Nevada Union as Enzo Arata comes in. See if Miners come with that blitz. They're faking it. Nope, 4-man rush over the middle, incomplete.
And that was just a poor pass. He had an open receiver, but unfortunately, he just could not convert.
Joseph Tenek defending, and he's had a good game tonight so far.
Garcia got a little bit antsy with that pass, and when you're not confident about who you're throwing it to or you're throwing, you usually throw it high, and that's what happened that time with Garcia.
Dane Stimbert was the intended receiver for Lincoln, and barring a turnover, Nevada Union will get the ball back. Rodriguez is deep for Nevada Union. Gets the kick away, going over to the right sideline. Miners need to be careful. The ball does not hit them, and it goes out of bounds at about the 17-yard line. And let's talk about the upcoming golf tournaments, the twin golf tournaments. Alta Sierra Country Club for the Nevada Union Miners, the 8th annual on Sunday, September 28th, 2014. Paul, be quiet. Placer Hillman, 3rd annual golf tournament at Auburn Valley Country Club, Sunday, September 28th. Steve, I got that one right, okay? So here come the Miners back to the line of scrimmage. I stand corrected on the golf tournament for Nevada Union. As usual, our crack executive producer director Gilbert M. Dominguez the 13th was right.
And that's why he has the chair with his name on it.
That's right. So here come the Miners again. Handoff, right side. Looks like it's Owens again, breaking through tacklers. A nice gain on first down.
I like the way Owens picked his hole that time, put his hand on the back of his fullback and just followed the hole right on in for 6 yards. If they can do that all night, Jim, it's going to be a long, long night for the Zebras.
You know, Ernie Flores mentioned how this Owens kid carries the team on his back, and you can see it in the way that he runs here. Now here's a pass. It's over to Daniels. Daniels turns the corner. First down yardage. Gets almost to the 40-yard line. They'll mark it at the 39, and Daniels is slow to get up. And let's see what happens here. He may come out.
Dylan Munch was over there defending, and you can see on the replay here, watch him. He takes a little bit of a pop. No, we're not going to look at the basketball.
Why does Bill keep tormenting him?
I don't know. He is too. But watch him take the hit right here. Bang.
Yeah.
And Munch gets him. I think he's probably got the air knocked out of him the way that he put the shoulder pad in the gut. He's a tough kid.
So James Schnitzis now near side. There's the misdirection play. Miners get a nice gain on first down. It looked like on that particular play it was James Schnitzis with the carry. 3-yard gain, second down and 7. Miners approaching midfield in the closing moments of the first quarter. It's been all Miners so far here from Edward Alexander Gray Sports Complex. Daniels still on the sidelines. But Spillner's back. Here's the screen. Needs one block. Gets it. Turns inside. That's Owens. Owens running for first down yardage. He gets it and then a lot more. He gets an extra 15 yards on the play before he's run out of bounds inside Fighting Zebras territory.
Big play again for the Miners. Dialing up the screen. We watched that last week and it was very successful.
I want to find out what Owens ate for breakfast.
Certainly has it going on, doesn't he?
Wow. The ball gets in his hands and it is lightning. I remember the likes of James Brendley when Brendley played for Nevada Union in a sectional championship season, and boy, Owens really changes a game. Here he comes again, short gain on the play. In fact, I think that was Mo Nieves.
Now watch, here's the screenplay, Jim, and they buy it. They're right on through there wondering where all the white jerseys are, and it's over the top. Now right here they have an opportunity to stop this screen, and the Zebras just can't seem to make a tackle when they need one. There's another miss. Owens running wild. Coach Houlihan is very wise too, Jim. He knows when he's got a hot hand player, and he's going to feed Owens. You can bet on it in the second quarter. There's your State Farm Mike Bratton scoreboard. Nevada Union not able to score a single point last week in the first quarter. Comes up with 2 big scores to lead 14-0. And Jim, a whole different ball game this week. A whole different team.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. You know, last week the Miners really played 2 great quarters of football and then 2 quarters of subpar football. Miners need to get a big lead tonight, and they need to dominate this game. You know, they talked about execution as their mantra for the week. Pretty well executed so far, Paul.
No, that's no question about that. Both on offense and on defense. Let's see if it keeps up. What we did also notice, though, late in the game last week is conditioning came into play. They got tired at the end of that game last week, Jim. Gave up some scores in the fourth quarter. Let's see if that happens again this week.
So the Miners are going to start off the second quarter with a second down and 7. Travis Owens is in.
Jim, how about this statistic? First half offensive yards, 223 for Nevada Union in the first quarter.
That's a lot of yardage.
Lincoln has 47.
So here we go, second down, single back is Moni Eves. In motion, though, was Owens, and Owens gets the ball. See if he can find a hole. This time he can't, and he's tackled for a loss. Miners will lose 3 on the play, and it'll be a third down and 11.
Big play. Kyle Kettlehut coming through from his defensive back position to make that tackle in the backfield. First really big play by the Zebras on defense.
So here's an interesting play. Let's see what Spillner comes up with on this third down and 11. And he's back to pass, and he's going to throw long, and he's out there, but can't quite get it. And it's Travis Owens on the receiving end, but it's an incompletion, and it'll be fourth down.
Wow, Owens was out there. It was there, just slightly overthrown. He set his feet. He had time to hit him and just overthrew him.
You know, on the deep pass routes, the Miners have been open almost every time.
So they're going to go for it, I think, here on fourth down, Jim. They're not going to bring in the punting unit. Look for Daniels. I'm going to call this one. They're going to try to hit Drew.
Great to see Drew back in the game. Big fourth down. Back to pass. Daniels over the middle, but he throws far side. He's got to be incomplete. Just a little too far thrown, but he definitely had him out there. And so the Miners are held by the Zebras on fourth down, and with 11-12 to play in the second quarter, the Zebras will take over on offense.
You know, there were 2 defenders on Drew that time, and he's limping off the field. Looks like he's still feeling a little banged up from that first hit he took.
Here they come. Great play by Melendez, and he drags him down. Melendez pursued from the backside, and before he could turn the corner, he made the tackle.
And Stenberg is finding out that he's got a middle linebacker that is every bit as fast as he is in the backfield. I'll tell you, this guy, Josh Melendez, he would have made a great fullback if they didn't need him at middle linebacker.
He was in pursuit at top speed, and before the runner could turn the corner, he was tackled. So it's 2nd and 10. Man in motion, gives it to him, breaks inside, breaks a couple of tackles, first down yardage.
Ball's on the ground.
There's the ball, and I think the Miners may have gotten it. Let's see what they say here.
They're grabbing inside. There were 2 players that had a hold of it. I don't know if they're going to give it. They're going to leave it.
They're going to give it back to the Zebras.
And I think it got taken away in the bottom of that pile.
I don't think so, Paul. I think it came out, and the guy who's getting up right now with the ball, it kind of twisted towards him, and he was able to recover it.
Fortunate break for the Zebras. They'll take a first down out of it. Here's a replay. Quickly, we'll get this in. Now watch, the fumble is the most significant part. There it is. Ball is on the ground. And right there, it looks like it's going to be clearly a Miners ball, but here, oh, you're right, Jim. It comes out, and they get an excellent.
So a first down for the Fighting Zebras. Over to the left side. That is complete. Another nice first down gain for the Zebras on the play. Caleb Kettlehut with the reception for the first down.
Kettlehut seems to be the favorite receiver for Garcia.
And Kettlehut is near side, spread wide. Handoff. Sweep to this side. Nice gain again, and they are dissecting the Miners' defense.
Tanner Keeler is a quick step back. You give him just a little bit of room, and he seems to be able to take advantage of it. That's number 3, and now he's split wide out left.
Miners have to find something to stop this drive. Back to pass, flag down, and it'll be called an incompletion, but the flag is usually in the area where they call holding, so let's see what comes up here. Shot block by the Lincoln Fighting Zebras.
That is our referee, Mike Trenton, you see there, making the call. Good crew tonight. Mike Trenton, Robert Pugh, Anthony Stanton, Donald Payne, and Mike Phillips.
And for the Zebras, that one especially hurts. It's a 15-yard penalty, so it'll be 1st and 25. Tanner Keeler, far side, now at tight end position. Second man through, but for the Miners, a great play by Enzo Arata.
Big Enzo, 6'1", 230-pound senior, found himself in the backfield right amongst the handoff. Here, watch the replay. Big Enzo, here he comes right here, smelling it out and putting the hurt on the first back through.
A loss of 3, 2nd and 28. The carry was Elijah Cunningham. So Lincoln in a big hole here, 2nd and 28. Let's see how Garcia can bail them out. Back to pass, looking over the middle, and now before he can run the play, there is, it appears as though there is motion. In fact, it was timeout called by the Fighting Zebras. So Chris Bean uses his second timeout of the first half with 8:35 to go in the second quarter. Miners leading 14-0.
There's a good shot of Coach Bean. I'll tell you, Jim, I am a Chris Bean fan. I thought he did a magnificent job at Bear River with the JV team as we look at the State Farm Mike Bratton scoreboard. Chris Bean took the JV team and handed over to the varsity. Excellent squads. He is a teacher, and he knows the fundamentals, and he teaches fundamentals. I think he'll be very successful here at Lincoln. I congratulate him on this job.
Well, let's face it, the parents at Bear River were very upset when they lost Chris Bean.
To say it mildly.
And there is the Mike Bratton State Farm scoreboard, 14-0 Miners. So here's a big second down play. Let's see what Bean has brought in for his offense. Back over the middle, and that's a completion, and that may go. It will. Touchdown, Fighting Zebras. Dane Stimbert on a pass over the middle is the right formula for Lincoln, and they've cut the lead to 14-6.
And wow, you've got to hand it to Stimbert. That ball whizzed right past the ear of the NU defender. He kept his concentration, turned around, brought the ball in, and then just used his speed to get into the end zone. Good call by the coach, good execution by both the quarterback and the receiver.
Garcia does everything. He's in for the extra point. Spotted, kicked, good.
We
so
have
the lead has been cut
game
in half with 8:27 to go in the second quarter. 14-7 NU. Let's take a look at that last play, Paul.
Go ahead, Steve.
Well, this play was clearly drawn up with this exact result in mind. Perfect cross route up the middle, just beats the defense. You see there's the dive, not in time. And he had a clear lane up the middle, doesn't need a block. As soon as he had that perfectly delivered pass, he didn't even have to break stride. And you can see why Stimbert has the phenomenal stats that he has. 431 rushing yards on the season.
Wow.
But showing his hands as a receiver there, catching that 40-yard touchdown pass.
So a great drive offensively for Lincoln. And they have cut into that Miners lead to the tune of 14-7.
Yeah, we thought they were going to have a foot shooting there with that 15-yard penalty. They were backed way up, and Coach Bean didn't panic. Got it in little chunks, and then the big play, of course, by Stimbert.
Rodriguez and Owens are deep. Garcia will be kicking off for the Zebras. The only kick that they have had tonight was an onside kick that worked to start the game. And there it is again. It didn't go 10 yards, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it did go 10 yards. I think he got it just over the 50.
They're marking it at 9 yards.
He touched it before it went across the 50-yard line.
Yes. So the Miners come out offensively on the Zebra side of the field.
Maybe they don't have a long kicker, Jim. Maybe this is what they do, and I'll tell you, they darn near were successful for the second time.
They should have been successful.
Watch it again here. Here's the replay on it. And Bear River's way back. They're not defending this at all. And if he had waited for one more bounce, it would have bounced into his arms at the 50-yard line.
Gil, replay that once more after this opening play. Over the middle, and that's complete. And there's a lateral, and it's Owens going down that side of the field. He gets good first down yardage for Nevada Union.
Good flea flicker on the left-hand side. If Owens had had just a little more room in the sidelines, he could have converted that one for 6.
Gil, can you show that onside kick once more?
Here it is.
And you see there it goes 5 yards, but watch how it gets touched. Didn't quite go 10. Back to live action here. Miners first down. Handoff up the middle. This is Nieves. Nieves with a nice gain. Picks up about 6 on the play. It'll bring up a second down and 4 for Nevada Union.
You know, Jim, Nieves is a nice compliment to Travis Owens. He can carry the football. He's not as explosive as Travis, but boy, I'll tell you what, hand the football to him. He's as good as most backs in this league.
So a second and 4. Another handoff. This is Nieves again. This time he gets the first down. He's driving. He goes through 2 or 3 players, and Nieves gets down inside the 20.
Great running by Nieves again. Keeping his feet, keeping his balance. Getting the yardage with his strength.
Stay tuned at halftime when Steve Sitter will bring us all of the statistics of the first half as part of our halftime show. 1st and 10. Here's the toss. This is Owens. Owens cuts in, stays on his feet, more yardage, and finally tackled out of bounds after a gain of 8.
Caleb Cuddlehat had a chance to cut him down with the loss. They're missing that first tackle, and it cost them.
And I misspoke. I said a gain of 8, but it's a gain of 6. And the officials are now taking a timeout. A player came onto the field without elbow pads for the Fighting Zebras, and now he comes over to put them on, and that was Kyle Kettleheim. Second and 4. Let's see what Spillner comes up with. This is Mo Nieves. Nieves up the middle, breaking tackles, going towards the end zone. Touchdown, Miners! Mo Nieves picks up the balance of the drive and vaults into the end zone, and the Miners lead 20-7.
So the Miners have an answer. The Zebras come down, getting their first score of the night. Miners take the ball in possession at the 50-yard line, march down the field, get 6 points. Let's see if they can convert the PAT. And this is no.
That may be the first time that I've ever seen a kicker kick the ball and have it come up short on a PAT without it being blocked.
Here's a replay of the touchdown, though. Nieves, I'll tell you what, this guy deserves some credit here. He blocks for Travis, and now watch the skill and the power. He can cut back. Now he just takes the tacklers. He's got 1, he's got 2 on him. He gets hit again, 3, and they never get him down. Watch this. He just spins out of it, scores the touchdown, walks away.
And you can see there on your Mike Bratton State Farm Insurance scoreboard, Nevada Union on the board for the second quarter and leading in the game 20-7.
Nieves is like a fire plug.
He's like a bowling ball. He is knocking pins over as he's heading for that end zone. He's not going to be denied.
A great game by Mo tonight, complemented by Travis Owens. Daniels with the long reception. And now here comes the kickoff. Seamers to kick off again. And it's a short kick And he goes down at the 38-yard line. Well, you know, if I had to give a grade to the running game tonight, I think I would pretty much give them an A, because aside from the one drive, they've pretty much manhandled Lincoln.
Pretty much have. Let's see if they can keep them from scoring again. Lincoln got some momentum going.
Well, the defense needs to make a stand here after giving up a touchdown on Lincoln's last drive. Penalty flags fly, and it's a loss of 2 yards on the play.
Flag came from the back judge. Let's see what they're going to call.
Sean Lyons with the tackle. You would have to think it was probably against the Zebras unless the Miners had too many men on the field. Illegal shift. I think I'd take the down and let him lose the 3 yards.
He's going to do exactly that, too. You can see Coach Houlihan on the sideline waving off. Yeah, they're not going to take that penalty. They're just going to take the loss of down.
Yeah, you take 3 yards instead of 5 and make them give up a down. So now 2nd and 13. Garcia has been great in the air, but here's a handoff, and again, nothing going on the play. Beautiful play by Colton Barker. Barker right there, and the Miners' defensive line is spreading the wealth tonight as far as the running game is concerned.
Yeah, very, very few holes in this defense tonight, Jim. Now we got a 3rd and long, 3rd and 15 here. Let's see what the Zebras dial up. They've proven they've got a passing game.
6.5 minutes to go, 2nd quarter action. And here is the pass game, and now he's being hunted down and throws it away. Throws it way down the middle of the field, incomplete. I don't know even who the intended receiver possibly could have been, but if he didn't get that ball off, he was going to be tackled for a big loss. Caleb Kettlehut, the only player even near that pass.
Yeah.
So the Miners hold big here on this drive.
They really do here, and they're going to be in great field position if they can field this punt. Back to receive, Rodriguez.
Single man deep. Miners looking like they're really going to rush. Gets it away. Miners need to get out of the way. And it squibs off and goes out of bounds at the 45-yard line of Nevada Union. So tune in every week for the Touchdown Productions NorCal Game of the Week. YouTube, Comcast Channel 11, Sunlink Channel 16. There you see our broadcast time. You can also go to www.nevadacountytv.org and Wave Broadband AC TV 20. Go to touchdownproductions.com for all the information. Steve, do you have a stat for us?
I do. That's Lincoln's 3rd punt of the night, and they're averaging just over 23 yards per punt. Not very good.
Wow. Back to pass, throws on over here. Going to be about a 4-yard gain on the play, and that was James Schnitzes.
James.
Check that, make it through.
I'm sorry, James is another favorite receiver. His brother, Andrew Schnitzes, also plays linebacker and tight end. They're both juniors.
So a 2nd and 7. Back to pass, now throws long, all alone over in the corner, but now then it gets a little bit congested there.
Owens waiting for the football to come down. A lot of air under that ball. Gave the defender, that would be Ramos, time to go over and bat the ball down.
In fact, he caught it, but he was well out of bounds.
3rd down and 7. Is this a time for a wraparound draw?
Oh, that'd be a good call here, Jim. They will be over pursuing it. It'd be a good time for the draw. There it is.
And there it is. Nice. Oh, Almost gets tackled, but gets the first down yardage. Great gain by Owens. He gets first down for the Miners. Wow.
You know, I don't think that was the wraparound. That was a buck play. It was a reverse inside. Travis Owens, though, getting it all by himself.
Amazing individual effort.
KNCO just down the row from us here is having to broadcast the whole game on a cell phone. I don't think they have their normal connection tonight. 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Mo Nieves with the ball.
Let's
watch a replay, Paul.
Yeah, let's take a look at this real quick, and you can see it's an inside buck play. It's a reverse inside, and some good blocking going on. That's number 63 for the Miners. Rubio breaking him loose.
Getting 9 yards after the point of initial contact. Just an amazing play.
Owens again, first down yardage. He breaks into the clear, inside the 20, tackled at the 11. Big yardage for Owens tonight.
Well, we gave him Player of the Week last week, Steve Sitter, and Travis Owens is putting this team on his back and just doing it all right here. The Zebras really don't have a defense for him right now, and he's running all over them.
Owens on the night with a large number of yards. Steve, do you have a stat on that unofficially?
Not just for individual, but as a team, Nevada Union is racking up the rushing yards.
And there he goes again, breaking towards the end zone. He looked at Ernie Flores when he came out of the locker room tonight before the walkthroughs, looked at him right into his eyes and said, "No fumbles tonight, coach." And so far, he has delivered. You know, if we gave awards for player of the game at halftime, it wouldn't be a very difficult decision.
That's a fact.
But the much coveted award only goes to the end of the game. 3.5 minutes to go in the first half. Miners again knocking at the door, 2nd and 3. Might as well stay on the ground and does. And this is Mo Nieves. He breaks up the middle. Touchdown, Miners!
And Nieves goes in standing up again. This is more points in one half than the Miners scored in 5 games last year. And I'll tell you what, this is a whole turnaround.
Well, and you look at Nieves there, you've got a very good combination in that Travis Owens gets a lot of yardage, and then he sets him up, and Nieves can't be stopped when you get down on that goal line. Nieves has gone in both times standing up. Miners going for 2 here. Over the middle, incomplete.
And
I think Daniels is hurt.
I think he's hurt too. He is. He's coming off the field again. Looks like he got banged up early.
And they may have to go the rest of this game without him.
And, you know, speaking of Daniels, Jim, you're talking about the 1-2 punch with the running backs. And then they've got Daniels there throwing the ball over the top. They've got a triple threat. Here's the replay. Now watch Nieves. You got to love this. The guy just sets his feet, squares his hips, squares his shoulders, and just drives it through. He's dragging 2 guys. Thank you, Tony Rondini. Great camera work there at field level. But Mo, I'm going to come down and give you a high five tonight. Like I said, 26 points, Jim. We didn't see that in over a period of 3 or 4 games all last season.
And you know, Nieves is kind of that quiet guy in the background. And then all of a sudden, you need him, and he goes right into the end zone on the carry. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mike Bratton State Farm scoreboard. 26-7, an odd score from my insurance agent, Mike Bratton. Is that okay to say, Gil? I might be relieved at halftime.
Mine too.
And here's the kick, high and deep. Deepest kick we've seen, takes it at the 10. Up the middle to the 20, now runs into a number of Miners players, but gets the ball out beyond the 30, where the Fighting Zebras will take up shop with 3 minutes and 11 seconds to play in the first half.
And Gil Dominguez, we would appreciate some water up here in the booth if you could send someone up.
And Gil, could you also bring up that caviar that you brought with the crackers?
And the little
and not the normal crackers, those really deluxe ones that you get at Whole Foods.
You mean the little goldfish ones? I like those.
So here we go. Fighting Zebras. Here's the pitch. Near side, Miners close in for not much of a gain on the play. Leading the way was Case Scott and Ryan Elkins. On the carry was Dane Stimbert.
I wouldn't have called you for a caviar kind of guy, Jim.
I have very fine tastes.
I'm a
You can
Velveeta
tell,
guy.
even in football, I only come and do the most refined telecasts.
I graduated from Chico State. There was Velveeta on a Ritz.
And still eating it, Paul.
I am, baby.
So that was a 1-yard gain on the play. Notice Steve Sitter is the smart guy. He stays out of the fray.
I'm more a sushi guy myself.
Well, there you go.
Gil, bring up the sushi. So the clock now begins to run. 2.5 minutes to go. First half action. And it'll be a 2nd and 9. Garcia directing his receivers here on the near side. But it's going to be a toss. See if the Miners can sniff this out, and they can't, and that's first down yardage. They had a couple of chances on the play. The tackle was made by Isaac Rodriguez.
Zebras in their hurry-up offense. They got 2 minutes and 4 seconds left. They're going to try and get something on the board before half.
And the handoff trips over his own player. Tanner Keeler went to make his cut and got wrapped up in the feet of one of his offensive players. In fact, I think that player was number 81, Cameron McClure. Clock running, 1.5 minutes. 2nd 11. Miners faking blitz. They have not blitzed much tonight at all. Now Garcia being pursued, and the pass is complete for a 5-yard gain, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and 3.
DJ Manley coming back for the football, catching the ball securely, keeping his feet in bounds. It's 3rd down, but this is 4-down territory with the clock winding down to just over a minute.
3rd down and 4 with 1.9 minutes remaining. Clock is stopped on the play that went out of bounds. So we'll see what Garcia has in his pocket here. Man in motion. Back to pass. Now a little screen over the middle. That gets a 1st down and a little bit more. Tanner Keeler with the carry. Ryan Elkins with the tackle for Nevada Union.
Good play call, well executed, but they're running out of time, Jim. Clock now stopped at 1 minute.
And they're staying in the huddle. Finally, they emerge out of it. That'll lose them about 10 seconds. 1 timeout left for the Zebras. Now he goes back. Miners pursuing, throws over the middle. It's a completion, but he's tackled in bounds. And now they call the timeout. Bean immediately went to the timeout signal with exactly 42 seconds to play in the first half, and I believe that is his 3rd and final timeout.
You're correct, Jim, it is.
And it's a 2nd and 10.
Coach Bean's out in the field, well executed, but the pass went nowhere. Looking for his receivers downfield, deciding on the short 1-yard gainer.
Miners now in the need of stopping them here. And there we are up in the booth.
I noticed, but I didn't say anything.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jim.
I'm the guy on the far right. Oh no, that's Steve. It's our pleasure to bring you this game tonight. Steve, good atonement for Nevada Union, huh?
Oh, absolutely. They really needed this after the second half against Pleasant Grove. This is exactly the first half they wanted to have.
Well, and what they really need to do is to tackle the Zebras inbounds short of a 10-yard gain. 2nd and 10. Man in motion. Garcia. Looking, being pursued, and throws the ball incomplete to number 4, Tanner Keeler.
Garcia's got happy feet in the backfield, Jim. He looks at his first receiver. If it's not there, he's really uncomfortable looking off the receiver and going to a secondary. And the offensive line isn't giving him all that much time.
He's scrambling a lot tonight, and here's a 3rd and 10. Is this the time for a blitz? Miners back off. We haven't seen much of that tonight. 4-man rush, and now he's taken down. And there'll be a face mask against Nevada Union that will give them a first down, and if there hadn't have been a face mask, that would have come close to running the clock out in the first half.
They'll march 15 yards off. Here's a replay, Jim. I didn't see the face mask at first. Let's see if we can see it here on the replay. There it is.
Yeah, right there.
Clearly. Flag comes in and keeps this drive alive with 29 seconds left.
And that is a killer because it really gives Chase Fry on the infraction. It really gives the Zebras new life when the first half was almost over. 29.2 seconds to play in first half action. Clock is running. Back to pass, throws long over the middle, and it's complete for a touchdown. And for the 2nd week in a row, the Miners give up a touchdown within the last minute of play. Last week with 4.4 seconds, this week with 19.3, and pending the extra point, it could be Nevada Union 26, Lincoln 14. And that's a backbreaker.
It really is, I was going to say. And they're going to pump that one straight through for the extra point. Scoreboard now shows 26-14. And Jim, last week, momentum changed right here at the end of the half when they were scored on. And this is so obvious. I mean, they don't have a lot of places to go. They simply run a straight pattern downfield. The receiver breaks wide open, and they throw a great pass, turns around, catches the ball for the touchdown. Zebras have new life.
Well, the Miners definitely have something to work on in the week ahead, and I guess it's called the last minute, maybe the last 20 seconds. The Mike Broughton State Farm scoreboard, 26-14, and the Miners are going to have to really go in at halftime and think about this. They only have a 12-point lead. And the Zebras get the ball to start the second half. Well, let's see if we get anything other than an onside kick. I'm sure that Dennis Houlihan has the hands units in this time, but you'd think they would kick it deep, although they may have watched films and seen how effective the Miners are on kickoffs, on special teams. So let's see what Garcia does here. And it's another squib kick. This one hits a player, but boy, Miners got really lucky there as as Mo Nieves fell on the ball. Nieves with a great job of doing that. Now, the Miners with 16.2 seconds to play have the ball at their own 45-yard line. Paul, do you go for it here, or do you just pack it in for halftime?
You know, with this kind of field position, Jim, I don't see why you don't take a shot at it. It would be a pretty significant play if they were to pick up a fumble or something, but I think you've got maybe even 2 free shots.
No sign of Drew Daniels. And before the play can get off, a flag flies. I'm sure it's going to be a 5-yard penalty against the Miners.
I don't know about you, Jim, but it seems like the last 2 minutes of this half have gone on forever. Both teams are squeezing every second out of it.
Well, let's face it, it's been a long first half, Paul.
It's true.
14.4 seconds. And it's a wraparound draw. Mo Nieves.
And that'll end it.
Well, 2.9 seconds. The Miners with a first down. They set the ball. They'll start, and Miners call timeout. So they're going to squeeze one more play out of this half. Coming off of the field is Elijah Cunningham, limping for Lincoln.
6 seconds on the clock. 6.2. Got it.
So what do the Miners do here? The wraparound draw gets good results, but join us next week. We're going to be back with the NU Miners. This time we're going to be at Hooper Stadium in Grass Valley, the Nevada Union Miners versus the Pioneer Patriots. Watch the game on YouTube for the game of the week, Comcast Channel 11, Suddenlink Channel 16, Wave Broadband 20, NCTV place. Lots of places to watch the game. The test will be after the game. Get your pens and pencils ready. So,
more confusion here. Yeah, something's going on.
No Daniels. It'll be interesting to see if he comes back for the third quarter. And there's a fumble. And now a flag. Dead ball foul, illegal motion, Nevada Union.
And I think Justice Spillner was looking downfield and was unclear about what he had called. The ball was hiked prematurely. He wasn't even ready for it. So I think he's thinking about the Gatorade he's going to get at halftime. There it is.
And he kneels, and that's going to be it. So for the Miners, a successful first half, burned on a couple of plays, but they lead at halftime, 26-14. And there you see the two teams exit the field. Gil, are we ready to go to break? We'll be back with statistics and a lot more as we recap the first half. You're watching exclusive coverage of Nevada Union Miner football. This is the Touchdown Productions Sports Network.
Hello, I'm Dr. Victoria Tutak, and welcome to Advanced Chiropractic Centers. Are you tired of living with debilitating pain, physically impacting the quality of your life? Here at Advanced Chiropractic Centers, we offer a variety of options. We are a result-driven office devoted to your health care. My name is Dr. T, and I look forward to meeting your health care needs.
It's time to visit the newly remodeled B&C True Value Home and Garden Center. The new B&C has completely changed for your shopping convenience. Their new expanded garden center has everything you need, including expert advice on trees, shrubs, and perennials. Check out their new website and the new spring hours. And thank you for voting B&C the best hardware and building supply in 2012. So start right, start here at B&C True Value Home and Garden Center.
Welcome to Plaza Tire and Automotive Service in Grass Valley. At Plaza Tire and Automotive Service, the customer comes first. We only do what's right for the customer, not necessarily what's right for business. Third generation family member, learned all that I know from my Grandpa Fred, my dad, my Uncle Mike, my grandma. My entire family's been a huge part of learning about the automotive industry. Grass Valley is our 4th location, and you can also find us in Colfax, Penn Valley, and Nevada City. I am Blake Hauser, and I welcome you to join us for the grand opening at our Grass Valley location.
Accidents happen, and Trips Auto Body and Paint Shop understands your frustration when they do. They work on all makes and models and have been serving Nevada County for 3 generations. Trips is a proud member of the AAA Repair Network, and their technicians are I-CAR Gold Class professionals. Trips works with all insurance companies and is a direct repair facility for AAA. Voted Nevada County's best, it's Trips Auto Body.
Mike Bratton is the neighbor you can count on for your most important insurance decisions, 24 hours a day.
The first step begins with a phone call. Hi, I'm Mike Bratton, your good neighbor State Farm agent, and I look forward to hearing from you. Since 1984, my team and I have been educating clients and developing long-term relationships through personalized and professional guidance on their insurance programs. We will put you in the driver's seat and strive to enhance each encounter you have with us.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Very good and here live I had a chance to see this crew do this routine while waiting for the school bus. Let's take a moment and watch this excellent routine by the Zebra Spirit Squad. Best ones I've seen in a long time. Very good performance by the Lincoln Spirit Squad. And there you see him come to the sidelines. A very spirited up and down first half. Steve, what do you have for us as far as statistics are concerned? Walk us through it.
Well, offensively, Nevada Union is doing a fantastic job. Overall, they have 325 total yards of offense, and 227 of them came from the run. Out of 20 run plays, they're averaging 11.3 yards per run. So all they got to do is put the ball on the ground. They get a first down every time. Lincoln, on the other hand, their run game is not so good. 58 total rush yards on 16 plays. That's an average of just over 3.5 yards per carry. Also, their punting is less than fantastic, shall we say. 3 punts, an average of 26.3 yards per punt, which is fantastic for Nevada Union since they are putting Lincoln pretty far back in their own territory to start with. Then you look at the passing yards. Nevada Union 98 pass yards. Justice Spillner 6 for 10 with 16 1/3 yards per completion. That's not bad, especially the 60% thing. But then you look at Lincoln and quarterback Elijah Garcia doing a fantastic job. Coming into this game, he was less than 50% his completion rating. He is 11 for 16, which is just over 68%, averaging 10 yards per completion, and they have 114 total yards in the first half. So Lincoln's passing game is definitely keeping them in this, and Nevada Union has to find a way to get to the quarterback, neither team with any sacks in the first half, which for Nevada Union is kind of striking. They've definitely put pressure on Garcia, but they haven't quite gotten to him just yet, just a minor change, and they'll definitely get to him. Penalties, though. Penalties are where Nevada Union really needs to help themselves out. 7 penalties for 52 yards in the first half, including 2 in that final drive with under 30 seconds. You really got to clean up in that situation. If you're going to take a shot for the end zone, you got to make sure you do it the right way so you don't get a careless turnover or just end up kneeling like they eventually did, not the way they wanted to end that.
And the bad part about it is that penalty on the last drive was actually the one that saved the Lincoln Zebras.
Absolutely. Oh, good. We have a camera behind us. Ladies and gentlemen.
Look out when they sneak up behind you, Paul.
That is a fact.
It's really our pleasure to bring you the game tonight here from Zebra Stadium. We're inviting you to join us again next week when Nevada Union comes back to Hooper Stadium. I got Scott Hopper on my mind. Hooper Stadium. Hooper Stadium when they play Pioneer. So, you know what we talked about this week in the Union? Everybody getting back on the Nevada Union train. This is an exciting team that should have a lot of victories this season, and just from the statistics that Steve just said, they really have some talented people.
We have a football team this year, let's face it, and nobody could be happier than the Nevada Union cheerleading section and power squad. They are out in droves, and we're going to have another game that we'll be broadcasting next week.
And not to look in the too long term, how many of these minors are juniors?
That's so true.
A decent number of them. I mean, the seniors are kind of leading the way, but one of the things that Travis Owens told me this week when I had a chance to talk with him was that the juniors really are doing everything that they need to do to contribute to this team's efforts.
But like you said at pregame, Jim, execution is everything tonight. They were focusing on execution, focusing on eliminating the penalties, and they have done that for the most part so far tonight. Let's see if they can hold on to the lead. Last week, they didn't have such a good second half. They need to be able to execute all the way through the entire game.
And big concern coming out of that first half is Drew Daniels. We'll have to see if he comes out to play in the second half. Definitely a big part of the offense.
And I couldn't agree with you more.
Tonight we have an interesting setup. Let's see if we can pan that way. We're here with the athletic director, and then you can see that for one of the very first times we're sharing it with KNCO. There is their team down at the other end, and so a very interesting scenario tonight.
Also an interesting
Dan Miller. So KNCO Broadcasting, and
of course Jeff Flynn, who I've had the privilege to work with when I was with the Gold Sox organization.
So that gives you a little bit of a view of, in fact, these are really great digs. There's no doubt about the fact that this is really a great press box in which to work. So
down on the field, if you'll notice, we have at halftime, the Miners had been working on their kicking squad. Number 27, Brody McCoy, has been down practicing his extra points and field goals. Let's see if they decide to change kickers. Number 14 has been doing the kicking. We don't have his name.
We'll be back with third quarter action in just a moment. You're watching exclusive coverage of Nevada Union football. This is the Touchdown Production Sports Network.
Magnuson's Toyota and Scion is celebrating 25 years serving you in the foothills. Right now, Magnuson's carries the first all-electric SUV, and they're still the home of the Toyota Tundra. Magnuson's Dodge Chrysler Jeep is right down the street and features the new Ram diesel truck, Jeep Wranglers, and Grand Jeep Cherokee. It's Magnuson's Auburn Toyota and Magnuson's Dodge, both in Auburn.
Are you ready to buy or sell your home or property? Placer Title is your local title and escrow company located right here in the heart of Nevada County. We combine the stability of a national insurer with all the benefits of on-site title and escrow professionals. Being voted the best title company by the union readers for the past 7 years is a true testament to our local roots and unparalleled customer service. Stop by one of our 2 convenient locations, and thank you for keeping your business local.
We're at SPD Market in Nevada City asking people what they like about SPD.
I've been shopping here for about 20 years, and the people are very courteous, and I especially like the meat counter. It's nice. You have a great selection, very helpful.
Because it's local, it's small, they have wonderful selections of things I need, and the personnel are very nice.
And that's why people love SPD Markets in Nevada City and Grass Valley. And of course, brought to you by Touchdown Productions, the foothill leader in sports television. This is Gil Dominguez saying thanks for joining us tonight, and be sure to stay with us after the game when we announce the Bill Slade and Sons Trucking Player of the Game, created by Stuckey Engravers. Once again, the Touchdown Productions sports team will select the most deserving NU player and honor them with a beautiful plaque made by Stuckey's. So stay tuned after the game for the Bill Slade and Sons Trucking Player of the Game Award, created by Stuckey Engravers, and coming up immediately after this exclusive telecast.
here at Lincoln High School. Nevada Union leading 26-14 at the half. And what an exciting half of football it's been as we take a look at the Bill Slade & Sons Player of the Game plaque. Let's just throw some names out there from the first half.
Steve, who do you have? Who's your leading candidate?
This is a really tough one because both Owens and Nieves have been so effective for completely different reasons. Owens for just his electricity and his fast moves, and Nieves for his ability to find seams and just bulldoze his way into the end zone any way he can.
Well, we'll have to see how the second half develops, but who can bicker with the half that Travis Owens had? The guy ran like a maniac.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not give it to him with that kind of yardage and production? You also always, and I always, will be talking about Josh Melendez on defense. Come on. The guy, Steve, do you have tackles for him? He's got to have 6 or 7 tackles in the first half. He had 18 for the whole game last week.
That's true. He's having just a phenomenal season.
He's a machine.
On the season, 35 tackles and 5 sacks. I mean, I'm probably spoiled from the game against Pleasant Grove, and before that, Placer, when he was just when he was the defense. It seems like he hasn't made his presence totally felt. Although he has not been blitzing very much. Nevada Union has definitely played a less aggressive defense. Coach Brad Dalbon, before the season started, commented that his defense was going to be very aggressive and try and pressure the quarterbacks. As a result, they've given up some big passing yards, and they've only given up 114 in the first half tonight.
Well, let's take a look at a couple of similarities. Last week, the Miners gave up a touchdown to Pleasant Grove that allowed them to tie the game at 21 apiece with 4.4 seconds remaining. The two teams came out for the third quarter, and it was never again the same. Pleasant Grove dominated the third quarter. The first 2 possessions by the Miners resulted in fumbles and recoveries by Pleasant Grove, and the rest is history. This week, the Miners give up a touchdown with a little bit more than 19 seconds to play. Now, the interesting part about that is that Lincoln gets the ball to start the second half. So, the question, how do the Miners keep from history repeating itself?
Well, first of all, they've got to continue generating this kind of offense. Last week, their offense stalled in the second half. It seemed like we had, like you said, there were 2 faces to this team. The second face showed up, and they couldn't move the ball sideways, for that matter, in the second half. Tonight, they've got to continue to score, continue to do what they're doing, and get production out of their backs. Secondly, if you look at the 2 scores, Jim, both of them have been scored on pass plays down the middle that certainly were defendable. That defensive backfield is a little suspect in my mind, especially after last week. Against Placer, they showed up, and they showed up big. Last week against Pleasant Grove, not so much. And so far tonight, the only 2 holes in the defense seem to be that defensive backfield.
Well, here's the interesting aspect about it, is that the Miners this week dedicated themselves to executing and making sure that they don't allow the history from last week to affect tonight's game. So let's see how effective they are in that game plan as we approach the third quarter of play. However you look at it, guys, it's going to be a very interesting second half. The Miners are going to make a statement one way or the other.
There's the crowd here that's shown up here in Lincoln. Very nice facility. We were just commenting on that.
I'm going to make a prediction here. I'm going to come out and say that the Miners learned from last week's transgressions or failures or whatever you want to call them, and that they're going to come out and they're going to have a good third and fourth quarter, and that they're going to prevail in this contest.
Is there any question in your mind that they're the best football team on the field? I think they clearly are. They've generated more yards. They have a stronger defense, and I think the line of scrimmage, especially off the offensive, is the offensive line is beating the defensive line of the Zebras. So I think they should come out with a win tonight if they can just stick to the game plan and execute in the second half.
Well, let me ask Steve a couple questions here. Steve, how many yards in the first half, all-purpose yards for Nevada Union?
For Nevada Union, 325.
And for the Zebras?
172.
There you go.
Now, an interesting aspect is that the Miners did not turn the ball over in the first half.
Well, if you want to get super technical, the onside kick is a fumble, and there was one turnover on downs.
Okay. You're right on the onside kick. That is true. So here are the Miners getting ready to start the third quarter. Despite the experiment at halftime, Seamers is ready to kick the ball off. So here we go. The second half of this book is about to be written. High, and again, this time to about the 12-yard line. Up the middle, Miners closing in, gets away from several players, gets past the 30-yard line. And one of the difficulties here for the Miners has been that on almost every kickoff, the opposition gets the ball at the 30-yard line or beyond.
Not a real strong kicking game, no question about that.
In fact, the worst starting field position for Lincoln has been their own 30. That is the farthest back they've been pinned in their own territory.
So 1st and 10. Screen over here on the near side on the first play. Heavy pursuit. It's Melendez again who makes the tackle on a carry by Dane Stimber.
Case Scott also over there, the defensive back, to help Melendez with the tackle.
5-yard gain, 2nd down and 5. Man in motion is Keeler. Handoff. Miners try to pursue. They do a good job, and it's going to be a 3rd down and probably about 3 from where the spot is. Ball at the 39. They need to go to the 42 to get a 1st down. Opening moments of the third quarter. Paul Brown, Steve Sitter, Jim Adams calling the game here from the Edward Alexander Gray Sports Complex on the campus of Lincoln High School. Miners and Lincoln Zebras. Miners lead 26-14. Big 3rd down here early on, 3rd and 3. And there's motion on the play, and that 3rd and 3 will become a 3rd and 8.
Quarterback Garcia coming over. Going to ask Coach Bean if he wants to change the play now that they're 8 yards away from the first.
Well, and here's the interesting thing. These are the types of plays, these penalties that the Miners need to take advantage of. It went from a 3rd and 3 to a 3rd and 8. So Garcia has 2-3 receivers near side, and I'm sure he wants to come over to this area, but there's a flag thrown on the play, and I believe it would be an area where it would be holding.
I think I saw the hold inside on number 77. That would be Roberts. Let's see if that's what they call.
Holding Zebras. 4th down, Miners will get the ball. So a good start here in the third quarter. Let me ask you a question, Paul. And Steve, you can weigh in too. Miners were highly successful on the blitz last week, but yet have they even blitzed tonight?
I don't think I've seen the linebackers come maybe but one time, and that was on a 4th and long, an obvious pass play. Steve?
Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe 1 or 2 times Melendez has gotten into the backfield.
A flag flies. Rodriguez is going to take the ball. He's not going to make much yardage, but I believe they're going to have to kick again.
And there's another flag that came in late.
So
I think we've got a hold on the offense and then there may be a personal foul, perhaps a face mask. Your guess may be right,
well,
Jim. They may
look at this,
decide.
though. They're talking only to Belendez from Nevada Union, and Belendez is signaling that both of the fouls are against the Zebras. Okay, so motion, and then
Illegal substitution, block in the back.
excuse me.
Those will offset.
So they'll offset and they'll stick it in.
Or I should say it is repeat and fourth down.
Looks like they're going to re-kick here,
Offsetting penalties, the play goes over.
which is actually pretty unfortunate for Lincoln, since that would have been a 34-yard punt and about a -6 return from Rodriguez.
.9:46 in the third quarter here. We're in Lincoln at Edward Alexander Gray Stadium. NU leading 26-14.
Okay, let's recap this for you. 4th and 10 against the Zebras. And, excuse me, they kicked once and offsetting penalties, so they're going to kick again. Here they come. And there's the kick. Miners will get better. Well, now there's a roll on the play, and it'll be just about where it was the first time. But mission accomplished for Nevada Union. They kick off to Lincoln, and the Miners hold them on 3 plays, 3 downs and out. And now the Miners will. Paul, how important is it right now for the Miners to make a statement?
I think this is a big opportunity for them right here, Jim. If they can sustain a drive, eat away at the clock, even though it's in the third quarter, show that they are the dominant field team on the field, I'm not sure that the Zebras could ever respond to it.
Owens and Nieves, both behind Spillner. This is Owens. Owens breaks up the middle. First down yardage. The ever so elusive Travis Owens picks up 11 on the play, and the Miners on their first play from scrimmage moves to the 41-yard line of Nevada Union. Here he is again. Owens for good yardage, gets about 8 on the play. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 2 for Nevada Union.
And I've got to mention Nick McFall, the center for Nevada Union, number 72. He is doing a great job inside there, blocking. The reason that Nieves and Owens are getting this much yardage is the inside blocking. Let's keep an eye on Nick McFall.
So a 2nd and 2. This time it's Nieves. He gets the first down yardage, moves into Lincoln territory, and the ball is at Lincoln's 46. Let's go to Steve Sitter. Steve?
Well, I just noticed this. Lincoln, throughout the course of this game, have amassed 8 third down plays. Nevada Union, only 3. They've only been forced into third down 3 times, and all 3 of those times were in the second quarter.
So another 1st and 10. Goes with those dual backs in the backfield. Now a man in motion, gives it to the second one. Breaks through. Again, Travis Owens, first down yardage, about 12 on the play. And then he fumbles at the end, and the ball goes on over to the Zebras.
This is something Owens was going to work on this week, and unfortunately he had a problem with fumbles last week. He coughed it again. Just when the momentum was going, Jim, marching their way down the field, they gave it up. Now their defense has got to get it back for them.
And the Zebras have been very stingy with the ball tonight. They have done a good job of protecting it, and now they have a chance. 1st and 10. Handoff up the middle, nice gain. Elijah Cunningham on the carry there.
And let's take a look at the end of this play. Owens runs into a brick wall, and that's when Lincoln starts going for the strip. And yeah, it just pops out at the end, and a fortunate bounce right to a zebra.
Less than 7.5 to play, third quarter action, Miners by 12. And back to pass. And now steps up and down he goes for about a 1-yard loss. And that is about the first time that the Miners have gotten to Garcia tonight.
You know, Garcia's got some room up the middle there, Jim. If he was to step up early, there would be a lot of running room for him. They may look at a quarterback draw later on. That's twice now. The last possible defender has drugged him down.
3rd down and 8 for Lincoln. They need to get the ball to exactly their own 45-yard line. And Miners now show the threat of a blitz, and too much time will take the ball back. A delay of game call takes it to 3rd and 13. And what do we have here? The officials started the clock and then they stopped it again, which I think was an error on their part. But here's a big 3rd and 13. Miners need to dig in. They fake the blitz, then they back off. Now they're looking. Here comes Garcia, right side. Not much running room, but then gets away and now has that running room. Out of bounds. Pushed out on the play by Travis Owens, but Garcia gets deep into Miner territory. Another 3rd and long that is converted for a 1st down.
And Garcia, showing he's got the ability to run, had the option to pitch the ball like most running quarterbacks do, decides to keep it himself, finds a little bit of daylight and makes it happen. There it is there.
You know, Miners are doing a lot of arm tackling, and it's just not working.
Number 4, Tanner Keeler on the carry, gets about 2.
Tanner Keeler on the carry.
Here's the replay. Watch, it's an option play. Comes down the line. Really doesn't have a lot of room to pitch the ball. Outruns his pitch man, and then just manages to find some daylight. Runs all the way past the track and a few high fives to the spectators.
2nd down. Not much of a gain on the play.
Number 17, Cunningham on the carry, gain of maybe a yard, brings up 3rd down and 7 at the
Carry by Elijah Cunningham. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and long. Are the Zebras in 4-down territory?
I would guess so, given their first half history.
Slightly more than 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Back to pass. Plenty of time. Throws, and it's complete for a 1st down.
Good pass connection that time. Is that, yeah, that looks like it's Stimbert. Dane Stimbert out there for another pass reception. First time they've worked him into the offense the 2nd half here, Jim. But the Zebras are putting up a good little drive.
You know, and here they are at the 23-yard line. Less than 5 minutes to go. Man in motion. Miners adjust. Throw over there. Incomplete. Drop the ball.
Garcia trying to take advantage of the extra wiggle room they're giving him over there on the sideline. That defensive back is off the ball at least 12 yards.
Keeler was the player who dropped the ball. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. The Miners, let's face it, Paul, the Miners really need to dig in defensively. The Zebras have really gotten under their skin for the 2nd quarter and now here in the 3rd quarter. So it's a 2nd and 10. And there's a flag. And I believe it'll be delay of game. No, illegal motion. You know, with all these breaks Nevada Union has received on penalties, they've had a hard time capitalizing them.
It seems like these guys come up with the 3rd and 12 and 3rd and 15 plays to keep these drives going.
And that's Lincoln's 3rd penalty this quarter. They only had 2 in the first half.
2nd and 15. And it'll be a screen over here to this side. Miners need to close in, and they do. Nice, well-played gain. Well-played gain of about 4, so that'll bring up another 3rd and long. And the Zebras right over the ball. Miners with little chance of substitution. And in this situation where there's not much doubt that Garcia is going to throw, the Miners have not had an answer on this drive.
Empty backfield.
And back to pass, and they miss him and throws incomplete. So that's going to be a 4th and 11.
And again, they're in that no man's land, Jim. They're not going to go for a field goal, and they're certainly not going to punt from here. Although I'm a big advocate for the sideline punt, to tell you the truth. If I could put them back inside the 5-yard line, that's what I would go for.
Yes, but they're at the 23, and they probably want more out of this than just poor field position for Nevada Union. Miners really need to dig in here and make a statement. In fact, if they're going to blitz at all, this really looks like a play where they should come. Rolls left, looking, throws long, defended, and there's a flag on the play for pass interference.
No doubt about that one. No doubt about that one. Out there, that's number 5 out there. Number 5 is Travis Owens. And Travis just mugged him.
The Miners just having a hard time finishing it off tonight.
It was a great pattern. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, that was P.J. Manley out there, I believe number 18, was it not? It was a double move to the sideline and up. Travis bit on the sideline move and was beaten.
And now it'll be 1st and 10 from the 11. 3:54 to go. And the Zebras have consumed a lot of time off this drive. And now here's the pass over in the far flat. But a great play. Finally a sure tackle, and this time Travis Owens.
Travis doing it on both sides of the ball. He had that fumble and then the pass interference call to make up for.
3 minutes, 25 seconds. 2nd down and 9. Zebras have done a great job of protecting the ball tonight, and now this is going to be a loss. And on that play, Tim Rubino really started it off for the Miners. A nice play. He penetrated and got a hold of that jersey and took him down.
That's the second time we've called Rubino's number tonight. He's done a great job inside. Here's another one of those long 3rd down and 13, Jim. This seems to be right in the Zebras' wheelhouse. Let's see if they can convert it again.
The Miners have had a hard time pressuring Garcia. So here's a big one. And now timeout by the Zebras. They take their first timeout of the second half with 2:29 to go, in the third quarter, trailing by 12, 26-14. And Paul, there is the Mike Bratton State Farm scoreboard. And there you see it, no scoring here in the third quarter with 2:29 to go.
Both teams having the ball with long possessions. And the Zebras here, it's third down and 13, Jim. You've got to know that they're going to take 2 downs to try to convert this, but they can still get a first down, but only barely. I believe they get a first down at about the 2-yard line. They just need to put it in the end zone.
And we look down below to a fan with a ukulele who he's playing. Nice turnout here tonight by the Zebra fans. They're being rewarded with an excellent contest. Third down, 13 to go. Here comes the blitz. Going back, throws, completion, but a sure tackle by Rodriguez for a loss.
Great play by Rodriguez, coming up to make, like you say, Jim, the sure tackle.
Elijah Cunningham on the reception.
Here's a replay on that. In this case, Garcia looking for someplace, any place to throw the ball. He just wants to get away from 5 pursuing defenders. Looks over his shoulder, finds a receiver who is immediately tackled.
So let's see what happens here. 4th and 16. Back to pass. Here come the Miners. Throws incomplete, but a flag flies. That'll be holding against Nevada Union and an automatic first down for the Zebras.
Isaac Rodriguez is going to be tapped for the flag that time. His hands immediately went up. Who me? But everybody in the stands, including us, could see the fact that he held the receiver.
And I think that Rodriguez right now is having a talk with the side judge saying pass interference. That ball was launched 10 yards out of bounds.
So 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line. Well, I guess it's 4th down. That's not an automatic first down. So it says it's 4th down and about 7 yards. So let's see how this plays out. Back to pass, no rush again, throws, and this time it's got to be incomplete without a flag. They keep the Hankies in their pocket. And so a turnover on downs. The Miners can exhale. Their biggest difficulty of the night has truly been in keeping this Zebras up. But Paul, listen, I think we've seen them blitz once tonight and you saw the result.
Absolutely true.
So maybe they're saving it for next week's game or for the regular SFL campaign. But I would like to wonder what it would be like for Garcia if he was pressured. And aside from a handful of plays, he really hasn't been pressured tonight.
I do have an alternate theory that perhaps Coach Houlihan noticed the defense get fatigued last week, so now he's not trying to expend them early.
Here's Mo Nieves, nice gain on the play, continuing to push, first down yardage beyond the 20-yard line. He gets them out from beyond the shadow of the end zone.
And NU goes back to getting big chunks of yardage on the ground. This is what they were doing, Jim, before they coughed the football up back on the 30-yard line some 8 minutes ago. Third quarter is winding down now, 1:14 left.
There you see a replay of Nieves on the nice game.
Nice holding onto that football with both hands.
Moving towards the 1-minute mark. Travis Owens, another good gain. Picks up about 7 on the play, 2nd down and 3.
I mean, Steve, they seem to be just running at will between the tackles. Like I mentioned earlier, the center, big number 72, Nick McFall, doing a killer job inside. Keep an eye on him, and you'll see him just clearing out the defensive guard inside.
Miners perhaps one play from the conclusion of the third quarter. Handoff up the middle, first down yardage, continues to drive out beyond the 30. 21.2 seconds to play in the third quarter, but the clock will begin momentarily, and now it does.
And Gil, if you've got a replay on that last one, I know I don't usually ask for one, but we're going to watch the center, number 72, Nick McFall, if you've got a replay.
26-14. Back to pass, throws in the flat. Here's a completion and runs out of bounds, but it is the conclusion of the third quarter. So after some heavy scoring in the first two quarters, they shoot blanks, as you can see in the third. The Mike Bratton State Farm scoreboard. Miners blanked the Zebras in the first and the third quarter, gave up 2 touchdowns in the second, whereas the Miners scored 4 touchdowns in the first and the second, 0 points in the third. Miners lead 26-14 going into the final 12 minutes of this contest.
Here's a replay. Now, Jim, we're going to watch the center. Focus not on the back, but watch the center. Number 72, Nick McFall. And he just annihilates this guy. Watch this. And he not only that, but a good offensive lineman keeps driving. He keeps driving. He's got 2 guys now, and he keeps driving. Now watch the end of this play. He pancakes the guy. Bam! He is on the ground. This guy is doing such a good job, and we don't ever. And then he helps him back up. You know,
he
once in a while.
Pancakes him and then helps him up.
And then helps him back up. I'll tell you what.
Get ready for the next play.
You got to love a guy like that. And I'll tell you what, if you're a big-time college scout, this guy, Nick McFall, 6'3", 334-pound senior, someone's going to pick him up.
So here we go. The fourth quarter will tell the story of this contest. First down. Gives to Rodriguez. Rodriguez, with perhaps his first carry of the day, picks up about, that was a second down, picks up about 2 yards, and it's going to be a 3rd down and 3. On the stop was Jonathan Manzer for Lincoln. Rodriguez comes out. And now a big play coming up for Spillner. Man in motion. Handoff. First down yardage. Nice play. That looked like Travis Owens.
And they'll move the flags. The stakes, rather.
And it was Mo Nieves. Great play by Mo. He shot right through that hole. 2 things nice about that. The Miners keep moving the ball, but also with only 12 minutes left, they keep that clock going. Handoff. Travis Owens, not much there, and then in comes a flag.
We may have a block in the back on that one, Jim.
And I think that call is going to go against Justice Spillner. But we'll see.
That is a hold against.
Oh, it's a hold.
10-yard penalty from the spot. Going to be first down and about.
So Spillner is going to have to dig into his bag of tricks here on a 1st and 20. 1 minute into the fourth quarter.
Just a side note, that is Nevada Union's 10th penalty for 82 yards.
Well, very similar to last week, Steve.
This is true.
So 1st and 10. Handoff. Rodriguez again needs a block, gets the block, needs to cut outside, does, and gets some good yardage before being yanked out of bounds. Picks up 13 yards on the play, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 7.
And this is exactly what NU needed, Jim. They needed a sustained clock-killing drive, something that would just keep their offense on the field, and that's what they're getting, big chunks of yardage. Really no sign that the Lincoln Zebras can stop them on the ground.
Unless the Miners stop themselves.
And that's what's been happening.
So 2nd down and long. Back to pass. Looking, throws. And a diving catch is complete.
Wow.
Unbelievable. James Schnitzes with the reception. And boy, did the Miners need that. It's a 1st down. That'll get the clock moving again, and it will give the Miners field position inside Lincoln territory.
James Schnitzes showing his agility.
And the clock is not running. The clock's supposed to be running, but it is not. Handoff up the middle. Another nice gain. 1st down. Hard time bringing Travis Owens down. And Owens, it was Mo Nevius. So great gain by Mo. He has to pull his helmet off at the end of the play and make sure there's no gray matter in there, Paul.
And now he's got to leave the field because he took his helmet off, so he'll be out for 1 play.
Well, last week we saw them call a penalty when a player lost his helmet in the course of a play. Now let's see if they see they should start the clock, and they do. Inside 10 minutes to go. Miners could go a long way towards sealing this up with a score on this drive. Handoff up the middle, big gain, runs into his own man, and then drops the ball. Recovered by the Zebras. Miners shoot themselves in the foot one more time on a fumble.
Playing a great game of ball control. Seems like they were heading right for the end zone. Ball goes on the ground. Zebra ball, they're letting them back in the ball game here, Jim.
Well, they surely know something on which they need to focus next week, and that's hanging on to the ball. So the defense back out on the field with 9.5 minutes to play. Garcia with yet another chance to tighten this lead. And here's a nice gain on the play. A number of Miners, led by Sean Lyons, after Dane Stimbert with the carry.
Miners up by 12 points here. It's a 2-score ball game. I'm wondering if Coach Chris Bean is going to loosen it up a little bit, maybe go for the long ball.
2nd and 4. Still a 4-man rush over the middle. That's complete. Flag comes in on the play. We'll have to take a look at what this is. Maybe it is holding. And let's take a look. Holding Zebras. So just as the Miners have killed themselves with fumbles, the Zebras have killed themselves with penalties tonight. They've seemed to be able to dig their way out of the hole several times, but this is a 2nd and long, and the clock is beginning to become their enemy. 2nd and 17. There's a handoff and another loss. The Miners, led by number 62, Tim Rubino again. And now it's going to be 3rd down and 20. And that keeps the clock rolling as we move towards 8 minutes to play. Paul, break this one down.
This is an easy one. They have penetration by a number of Miners, led by number 62, Rubino. He has been a juggernaut in the backfield tonight.
3rd down, back to pass. Long time to throw. Sets up, throws over here, completion. Owens grabs him, and he finally goes out of bounds, and it's going to be about a 4th down. I'm going to say 4th down and 7.
Yeah.
Let's see where they spot this. No, it's going to be a 4th down and 4.
That was Tanner Keeler, who has been the majority of the offense tonight for the Zebras. They're going to come in. They're going to punt the ball, looks like, Jim.
Well, they're awfully deep in their own territory. $7:50 to go.
No, they're going to go for it. There's no punter on the field.
So here is a pivotal moment for the Miners defense.
It's a freeze play. They're going to try and draw off sides.
And they take their 2nd timeout.
Wow. They had the old freeze play on. They were going to try to draw.
That's a costly freeze play, though,
No
with
doubt.
having to give up their 2nd timeout of the 2nd half.
No question about that. Coach Bean is on the field now. He's looking at his clipboard, but that clipboard says, I got to punt the football.
Well, and here's the thing that's interesting is you almost say to yourself, do I take the 5-yard penalty or do I burn the timeout? Now, they decided to burn the timeout, but the Miners have the potential of getting good field position and then have the hopes that that makes a difference. Our pleasure to bring you the game tonight. To my right is Paul Brown, and to my left is our expert statistician, Steve Sitter. We're pleased to bring you this game tonight from Lincoln, California. The Zebras of Lincoln High School versus the Nevada Union Miners. And here we go. They're going to go for it again on 4th down. So they burned a timeout for no reason now. And here they go. Back to pass. Throws and gets the 1st down. And let's see. That'll stop the clock, too. Cameron McClure on the reception for the Fighting Zebras. So 1st and 10. Back to pass. Now finds a hole and finally is dragged down on the play. Chase Fry with the tackle. That'll be 2nd down and 9. Clock moving towards 7 minutes to play in this contest.
Chase has got to learn to tomahawk that ball out of there. That ball was, he was carrying that ball like a loaf of bread. Chase came from behind, and that is such an easy strip from behind.
Handoff. Miners convert pretty quickly, and then he gets through. And close to 1st down yardage. And in fact, I believe that he converted.
Stenberg again. Dane Stenberg. Strong man in the backfield.
First and 10 on their own 40. Back to pass, all day to throw. Finally tosses it out there and gets a completion before being taken down by Travis Owens.
And again, Cameron McClure, the wide receiver, the junior, finding some open space, coming back to his quarterback and getting a reception.
Miners hard pressed to stop the Zebras. And now here comes the blitz, but the quick pass over the middle is a completion.
Pass complete to number 3, Kettle Hunt.
That was Kettle Hunt. Here's the last completion, and they just don't have any pressure on him. He's got time to look around. Thinks about running the football, but then stops when his receiver comes back to him. McClure makes a good reception right there at the sideline.
And the Zebras called the perfect play for the blitz, a quick pass to the left side. And now he throws long, and he's got a man out in front, but it's incomplete. A little bit too far on the play. Caleb Kettlehut.
And out there to defend Travis Owens. You know, Jim, when you put your best back on the defensive side, you know, he's got to be feeling a little beat up and maybe a little winded. He's carried the football a lot of times tonight, and then you ask him to defend as well.
5:55 to go. Miners still by 12. They've, as of last week, they've had a hard time scoring in the second half. And Dane Stimbert on the carry for a first down. And he goes to the 29-yard line. One of the Miners slow in getting up. And that is Colton Barker.
The Zebras need to pick it up. There's 5 minutes and 40 seconds left. They need 2 scores. They are taking the time. They've taken the time in the huddle.
And the Miners need to get what they have not accomplished tonight, a turnover. And there he goes again, Dane Stimbert.
And Jim, at the top of the show, we talked about conditioning, and I noticed last week that they were running out of gas about this time last week. And this is when they gave up 2 scores. Right now, Stimbert is running over them. He is the strongest man with the football, and he's running over the defense.
And here they come far side. They have a hard time picking it up. Tanner Keeler on the carry. Short gain. It's going to be a second down and goal from the 9. Five minutes exactly to go in this contest. Like you said, Paul, no sense of urgency yet for the Zebras. Garcia has been very effective via the air tonight. I'd be surprised if he didn't drop back here. And he does. Looks in the left side. There's a completion, but a sure-handed tackle on the play. Again by Travis Owens. Reception by P.J. Manley.
And the clock continues to tick down, 4:23:22. They're looking for a play to come in from the sideline, and everybody's just standing around. They're going to burn the full 20 seconds, Jim.
So do the Miners come this time with everything but the kitchen sink. Here's the toss. He has a lane, but cut off by the Miners, short of the goal line. It's going to be 4th down and 2.
And there's Melendez doing what he does. Josh coming from his inside linebacking position, showing some speed.
Now at 3:40 to go in the game. And if the Miners can hold here,
it'd be lights out. Zebras have to score here to stay in this football game.
And a timeout is taken by Coach Bean, his 3rd and final timeout on the evening. And so with 3:27 to go, Paul, you're right on. If the Miners can stop it here, this game is all but over, because the Miners will be able to, with 1 first down, or maybe 2, run out the clock. And there you see the Mike Bratton State Farm scoreboard. Look at this shutout in the second half.
We thought this was going to be a scoring fest. The way the first half went, Jim, we thought this thing was going to go maybe up into a total of 50, 60 points total, but both teams have had trouble. They mounted drive and then turned the football over. I still say the Miners are the strongest team on the field, but they've got to do something about the turnovers. The fumbles are killing them.
You know, 2 things to note. One is, just like last week, the Miners have not scored in the second half. And the other thing to note is, as you said, They've had some good sustained drives where it looked like they were going to go in only to fumble the ball. But here we go, 4th down. Big play for the Zebras. Garcia. Back to pass. Throws. Touchdown!
And we have a football game going on here, Jim. First score of the second half is by the Lincoln Zebras. The fans here on the sideline here at Edward Alexander Gray Complex are going crazy. They love their Zebra team, and the Zebras have come to play here. They've pulled it. Let's see if they can convert.
It is a noisy building here tonight, and the kick is no good. So the lead goes to 26-20. You know, I hate to say this to you, Paul, but the Miners should never be in this position. Now what they're going to have to do in order to prevail in this contest is they're going to have to endure an onside kick.
Now watch the replay over the top here, Steve Sitter. It's a simple pass play. He's just going to throw it up for grabs. He's got his big receiver Manley out here, and he throws it up a little high and just floats one in there. Not very well defended, you've got to say. Gave him an awful lot of room out there.
Travis Owens felt that he had kept him out of the end zone, but it was simply not to be.
There's your Mike Brett State Farm scoreboard. The lone scorer in the second half there. Now, so far, Jim, they have kicked the ball off 3 times, and 3 times they've kicked squib kicks or onside kicks. I'm not sure they've got a long kicking game. I think that is their kicking game. If they do have a long kicking game.
I don't see how it can be. You can't survive in the PVL if you don't have a good kicking game. I think this has just been a strategy against Nevada Union. And here you take a look. The Miners are confused at lining up. They have the hands line out there, but they really have, now they're switching it around.
But they're all up on the line. They're thinking, so they're going to try and drop this ball to one side or the other, and they'll try to drop it behind this group and outrun them.
Let's see what happens
here. This will be interesting.
Almost every time has been successful. Almost every onside kick has resulted in staying with the Zebras, except for one that didn't go far enough, and it's going to go now over to that side, and it's a terrible kick. But wait a minute, hold your horses. The Miners may have been offside on the kick. Let's see.
Oh, that would be a shame.
And I think they were. Let's see what the call is. The referees have been the great equalizer for 2 weeks now, and this may be yet another example of it.
Well, Jim, just to remind you of what you just said, if they can just receive the football and get 1 first down, this game is over.
But a 5-yard penalty against Nevada Union, and now they get to kick from the 45. That was one of the worst onside kicks I've ever seen, but the Miners probably are not going to be afforded that luxury again.
That ball went sideways. It went 2.5 or 3 yards out of bounds.
It was almost a lateral kick.
Ugly. That's the only word for it. So let's see if they can execute this time.
Nornie Flores talked about execution. The Miners have not been extraordinarily great in that area tonight. But if they were ever to execute, this is it. Here we go. Let's see what it is this time. A little bit of a different look as he approaches the ball. Last time he approached it far from the left, and now it's going to be straightforward. And the ball is allowed to go out of bounds. Miners get very lucky.
Oh. Had they had a fast receiver type of individual on the left-hand side that could have run that ball down, it was wide open.
Hey,
for
Paul,
anybody.
I'll take what they got there. Now all the Miners really need to do is probably get 1 or 2 first downs, and then they will be able to sneak out of here with a scant 6-point win. But they've got to hold on to the ball in the process.
Well, I think they should just do what has been working, stay between the tackles. They can use the backs that have been working for them all night. Stay with what's working and just
no Drew
grind it out.
Daniels in the second half, and there's the fumble.
Oh, they got it back.
And they got the ball. The Zebras have the ball. Unbelievable.
It was a simple snap from center. They could not make the snap from center, and the Miners are on the field and they're just shaking their heads. The defense back on the field again.
And this is the best starting field position Lincoln has had all night.
And look at the energy. The Zebras know they've got a chance.
1st and 10, plenty of time, 3:16 to play. Up the middle, plows a big hole, taking tacklers with him. First down. Miners tired on defense. They have been on the field for just about the entire 4th quarter.
Here's the fumble. Now watch, they don't get a good snap from center. Goes straight back, and he never fields the ball. It was as if Owens coming past him distracted him from actually catching the football.
And there is a Miner down on the field. Looks like he has a leg cramp.
And not to belittle this leg cramp here, but this might actually be a significant break for Nevada Union. Their defense is very, very tired. Lincoln has had the ball a vast majority of this second half, and that defense has been on the field for all of it. So this is a bit of a rest that they get without calling a timeout.
And this guy, Dane Stimbert, he doesn't have any quit in him. Let's watch the replay one more time. And watch, he just takes his eyes off the ball and just never catches it. It looks like number 9 coming over, that's Mo Neves, comes over, distracts him.
Joseph Teniak comes off the field.
Teniak was the one that made that tackle.
Plenty of time for the Fighting Zebras. 3:09 to go in the 4th quarter. They are down by 6. And the Miners, with a series of mistakes, have put the Zebras in position to take the lead. Handoff. Not much yardage. Good gang tackling by Nevada Union in that case. Dane Stimbert again with the carry.
Now you've got Josh Melendez. He is keying on Stimbert now. You can watch him. He is following him. He's going to play Monster Man. Hopefully go heads up with him. There's the clock. 2:35, 2:34 left.
Handoff. Not too much yardage and good gang tackling. The Miners have done reasonably well tonight in the run defense, but the pass defense has really struggled. And Garcia's going to have to go to the air on this play.
Number 660, Enos Arata there, getting that tackle. Everybody's got to step up now, under 2 minutes.
Steve, how many turnovers does NU have tonight? Here we go. Handoff up the middle.
Straight up the middle.
Close to a first down, but that's going to be 4th down.
The question is this. They need to score. They need to be in there. Hurry up and score. They have no timeouts.
Jim, to answer your question, Nevada Union has 5 turnovers
so
on the night.
5-0 in turnovers. There's our big stat. 2 turnovers by?
On downs.
Okay. Well, on downs, but no turnovers via fumble or interception. Rolls. pitches. Miners need to get out there, get him, and keep him in bounds, and they do. Tanner Keeler with the carry.
Minute 10 left, Jim. They can't stop the clock. And it comes back down to that freeze play where they burned a timeout earlier. Now they've stopped the clock over there. It looks like
Nevada Union held on the play, so the ball will go to Nevada Union, and barring a fumble on exchange, they're positioned with no timeouts for Lincoln to be able to prevail tonight. But it was an ugly second half.
Boy, is that the truth. They secured a win with that last play.
How many turnovers tonight, Steve, via fumbles for the Miners?
4.
4 turnovers via fumble tonight.
The same as last week.
They just need to kneel on the ball now.
And they do. They'll need one more knee, and then we can go home and take our heart medicine. There's a picture of the moon coming up tonight. Looks like Gil Dominguez took a bite out of it. He does get hungry sometimes and likes that cheese. Well, the Miners found a way to win tonight, but they've really got some stuff to work on. Their execution on offense was great until they fumbled. They ran the ball at will. The passes were good. I'm really concerned about Drew Daniels and what the scoop is with him. The defense played reasonably well. They only gave up 3 touchdowns. So there were some aspects of the game that were good, but there were other aspects of the game that were ugly tonight. Paul Brown, Steve Sitter, player of the game.
I'm gonna go with Nieves on this one. I think he had a fantastic game, and I know Owens was there when it counted with the fast, quick moves. But Nieves, time and time again, hit that seam, got the third down conversion, got the touchdown when they really needed it.
Paul, how you feel on that?
I like that. Mo did a great job tonight. Let's face it, and we've said a lot about Travis Owens, but Travis had a couple of turnovers tonight that were critical. He also had a penalty that hurt him. I think Mo did a great job tonight. He's a good call. I also got to say that Nick McFall, number 72, I'm going to give him an honorable mention there at center. He deserves some respect there, and we're going to keep an eye on him for future player of the games.
So the Miners sneak by here in Lincoln. They get on the bus and they get to head home. Number 9, Mo Nieves, is the player of the game for Nevada Union. Miners get a major scare tonight. They came out really hard and very well, and the turnovers were just extremely difficult for them in this contest. Something to work on next week before Pioneer comes calling.
And we will be there to cover that Pioneer game next week as we see them coming off the field. 2 wins so far this year, Jim.
And there it is, number 9, Mo Nieves, will be joining you next week when the Miners play at home against Pioneer. Steve, do you have any final stats for us?
Oh boy, I'm totaling them right now. That was such a dynamic second half. It definitely threw off everything I was hoping to do.
Well, you know, Paul, there's a couple of, and there's Mo Nieves right there, number 9. Hard-nosed runner, focused guy. And I'm sure they can exhale, but it's not the win that they wanted. Next week, as we mentioned, the Miners will play the Pioneer Patriots at Hooper Stadium on the campus of Nevada Union High School. Watch this week's game on YouTube, Comcast Channel 11, Suddenlink 16, and tune in each week for the games on many of our networks of stations. And Nevada Union Miners, their basketball boosters, will have their golf tournament at Alta Sierra on September 28th. And if you take a look, let's go out on the field for a minute there, Gil. Many of the Miners players were there praying, and all of the Lincoln players came on over to join them, and now the NU players are there too. Quite a show of sportsmanship, Paul.
Absolutely, and I
I'm not sure I've ever seen anything like this.
This looks like a group prayer. They're going to have in the center is number 57 for the Miners. That's Jake McIntyre. And I believe he'll have a group prayer.
And there they are. They're on their knees. The players from both squads, hand in hand, arm in arm. Pretty unusual scene, Paul. You don't see this too often.
I'm moved by it, actually. I think this is great for building the character of these young men, and that's what we've got to remember. That's what we're doing here. We're building character for these young athletes, making them into men.
In my 14 years of doing the Game of the Week, I have never seen this before, but every player from both squad there, the prayer is led, the players are clapping, they're embracing each other, shaking each other's hands. An unusual moment in high school football. Steve, some final stats.
Well, first of all, the difference in the halves again is just staggering. Nevada Union had 227 rush yards in the first half, not even 100 in the second half. They ended with 311 rushing yards, which, not to belittle 311 rushing yards, but it could have been just so much more if not for all of the turnovers. Still, on average, 9.4 yards per carry. That's simply fantastic. The run game was fantastic. Just make sure you hang on to the ball for the whole play, and this team can really go far. Lincoln averaged 4.5 yards per carry, which is a testament to the excellent defensive line of Nevada Union. Look at the pass yards. Lincoln only 181 pass yards, but the percentage is staggering. This is the stat I was just working on. In the second half, the quarterback, Elijah Garcia, was 12 for 15. He was 80%, and he came into the game below 50. So you take that 12 over 15, factor that in with the first half when he was 11 for 16. He's 23 for 31. He was 74%, which is amazing. But you look at Nevada Union, 8 for 12 on the night, 67% for Justice Spillner.
Clearly the best team on the field, but the scoreboard doesn't really indicate that. They darn near lost it at the end.
Just about. And the penalties again. 11 penalties for just under 90 yards.
So Chapter 4 begins next week, and we'll be there to bring it all to you. There you see NU huddled there. Our executive producer director, Gilbert M. Dominguez. Executive producer, Gilbert M. Dominguez. Camera operators, Paul Town, Tony Randini, Sanyo Aris, and Enos. Announcers, Jim Brown, Paul, Steve. Looking forward to seeing both of you next week. Remote facilities brought to you by Commander 2. Commander Maintenance, Plaza Tire and Auto Service, Reeves Auto Parts. Player of the Game Award, Bill Slade and Sons Trucking, Stuckey Engravers. Touchdown Accounting, Cinto, Graciano, LLP. Order your DVs today. Over 1,500 sports telecasts now available since 1997. Here's a list of the places where you can see our game. The Miners are victorious tonight, 26-20 here in Lincoln. For Paul Brown, Steve Sitter, Gil Dominguez, and the rest of the Touchdown Productions team, this is Jim Adams reminding you that you've been watching exclusive coverage of Nevada Union football on the Touchdown Productions Sports Network. Good night, everybody.